other sort of standard way to define Buddha's path. But if you were to ask what is Buddhism in a nutshell, you can talk about Four Noble Truths, for instance. And or you can talk about four seals, the four hallmarks of Buddha Dharma. Another way to characterize the path of the Buddha is the path is how should I put it in a very simple language? It's like the ingredient, let's call it ingredient. Ingredient of the path has to have at least, must have, these two ingredients, which is what we call wisdom and method. Like, for instance, coffee. If you want to drink a coffee, water in the coffee, even though water as independent is not at all near to coffee, it is indispensable if you are wanting to drink a coffee. You cannot separate these two. I'm repeating these things because this is kind of important. Yeah. So, wisdom and method has to be there. Those two cannot be separated. Okay. You have to know, when we are talking about a path, we are talking about a path dweller, without a doubt. If there is no path dweller, there is no concept of path. Now, when we talk about a path dweller, we are talking about an imperfect being. Because if he or she is perfect, no need path. So, imperfect being, there's a reason. The reason why he or she is imperfect is because there are a lot of defilements. This is why the paths are different. But I'm repeating again here, the path has to have these two ingredients, which is wisdom and method. But actually the distinctions between wisdom and method is also only for the sake of, how should I call it? For the defiled beings. Okay, the reason why I'm giving you the coffee analogy is water as an independent is not at all coffee, we know that. Now, in the Buddhist path, as it is in this sutra, there are so many methods. Okay, do you want people to like you? Do you want to be attractive? Do you want to be noticed? Do you want people not ignore you? Then I'm just going to read this. Some of these are probably not that easy to do, but just to give you an example. Then there is a specific substance, gyuang, it's called. Some say it is the bladder of elephant. Others say it's saffron. Maybe something like slightly more than a kilo of saffron. Let's say it's a saffron. So put it inside a vase made out of lapis lazuli. Place this vase in front of
a picture or a statue of Avalokiteshvara. Then chant, this is Dharani, 8,000 times. Okay, so now this has become like a perfume. This is how to make perfume, basically. Then you apply this. After that, you apply this on your body, or apply just a little bit on your forehead. Then whoever sees you, or they just have no choice but to like you. Just one more example. If you are imprisoned or chained by authorities or, I don't know, terrorists, then find stool of white crow. Chant this Dharani 108 times. Apply it on your hand or weapons or whatever chains. You will be liberated. I'm sure all of this is in your the sutra that you have it. Now, if I am just reciting this and then tell you this is the Buddha's path, then that is equal for me giving you a glass of water and say this is coffee. First of all, for a lot of you who are supposedly very skeptical, none of this makes sense. They're so like shamanist and ritualistic, and they're like and if you try to do it, if you do it, I can almost guarantee you it won't work. The reason why it won't work is because the big part of the ingredient is missing. So I'm just giving you an idea of how to make a path, a perfect path. So okay, but you can always argue saying, but just to get that wisdom is so difficult. I mean, first it would take years for me to even understand the wisdom of prajna paramita. By then I'll be like 78 years old. Who cares whether people like me or not by then? And this elephant bladder, what? This is, criminal. This is endangered species. And it's, first of all, as a Buddhist, we can't kill an elephant. Secondly, even if there's, you have to smuggle in, and this is not good. See, when you think like that, then you are taking out the big part of the ingredient, wisdom. So, for people like you and me, okay, elephant bladder, not possible. Perfection of wisdom, completely not possible. But we still want people to like us. So now what do we do? Get a cheap perfume. I don't know. This must be somewhere. A lot of it. Calvin Klein, let's say. Yeah, all of that really bad. Like this. But Calvin Klein, Coco, Chanel. They're really bad. They're really, really cheap, cliche. They're so boring perfume. Then lapis lazuli vase, that's expensive. Most of us, we can't afford this. Then what do? Paint the, Calvin Klein bottle blue. Okay, then I'm sure you can find the Avalokiteshvara photo these days everywhere. You can just download. Put it in front of, put this Calvin Klein in front of the statue or the painting. Now, the next big ingredient, wisdom, which you don't have. And you can't buy it, you can't download it. So what do you do then? Then, what you do is I shall do this dharani and bless this perfume, and I will apply on me so that whoever sees me will have a connection to the Buddha Dharma and the enlightenment. Now you are having a little bit of, little dosage of the prajna here. So you should do this. Please go and get a cheap perfume or an expensive perfume, whatever you want, and do what I said. Okay, I've been telling you this because I am teaching the second. I'm not. I shouldn't say. I'm sort of giving you the idea of the second point. We have been talking about the essence of Dharani. Essence of Dharani. When Brahma asked, "What is the essence of Dharani?" Avalokiteshvara said 9 things. We already discussed the compassion. Now, Nyambisamiyan, equality, the great equanimity. That's what we are talking here. Because in the sphere of the shunyata, there is not a smallest difference between 1,000 kilos of elephant bladder and a cheap Coco Chanel perfume. Equal. The equanimity. Lapis lazuli vase and your pea pot has no difference. Lapis lazuli vase, lapis lazuli pot. And this is, the whole 9 points we cannot discuss completely this time. But, I think they're also related. So if you understand one, you understand the others kind of, If the husband and wife are not getting along well, then get tail of a goose, I think. Goose, like a swan, goose. And I think so. I think you paint Avalokiteshvara on that feather. Then chant the Dharani 1,000 times. And then wear this feather with you. You'll be, your relationship will be as if you are just dating. As I said yesterday, this is the beauty of the Buddha Dharma. There is the deconstructive aspect, the shunyata, the emptiness, But then never even slightly we deny all this mind-boggling stuff. This is and good, this is actually, I don't know whether any of you are familiar with like philosopher like Nietzsche. Very deconstructing. But most probably Nietzsche must have died with the biggest depression. Deny this, negate this, deconstruct that, nothing left. Most of the modern intellectuals are like this. They die miserably. So, I have to give, just because this is so important, I need to repeat these examples again. Like a reflection of your face in the mirror. It's there, very clear, but also it's never there. It's just a reflection. And these two simultaneously, I don't like to use the word coexist. It's because coexist means they are two separate things sitting together. They are simultaneous, the non-existence and the existence, like a rainbow, like a reflection of the moon in the water. They are there, they are beautiful, they function. At the same time, they are not there. Form is emptiness, emptiness is form. So Buddhists believe in reincarnation, karma. Buddhists believe in cause and condition and effect. Buddhists believe in existence of 6 realms or more. Buddhists believe in pure land. Buddhists believe in a person who has 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes. Buddhists believe that um, there's a person called Avalokiteshvara. In China, he is she, and in Korea, he is sort of he and she is interchangeable. And then in India, he is he. Perfectly acceptable. And none of that Buddhists believe truly existent. Buddhists believe in, rabbit's stool managing to chase away the zombies. And not only the Buddhists believe in these things, Buddhists, as we practice, we are even allowed to be very meticulous, as if it really exists. So, going back to the, Chanel, Coco Chanel, if you do it ritualistically, with a proper care, elegance, and I don't know, the whole ceremony, the power and the potency of the Dharani and the Coco Chanel will be, infinite. If you really mean well, if you really wish that the world is peaceful, harmonious, and if you only wish that you are in President Trump's shoes, you could do this list of things that you could do. But because you think that at this moment you can't really do it because of cause and conditions, then a person must, with a good wish to create harmony, peace, prosperity to the world, and think that you are in that particular position, whichever position, like a president of America, and then read the Dharani. It will have an effect one way or another. With this in mind, I'm going to read the Dharani. Okay, so you just listen. Namo Renataya Namaya Lokiteshvaraya Bodhisattva Mahasattva Mahakarunnikaya Deya Tam Sarva Bandana Chena Dakara Sarvabha Samoduza Bakara Savana Bhadita Shamanaya Sarvavidya Parachinu Sarva Bhayi Yushutara Nakaraya Tasaya Nama Sanskritaya Bidaya Aryavalurishwarama Tavala Tia Kana Nama Mara Maridaya Ma Padayi Chami Sarvatha Sadanam Shubha Chitanam Sarvabhudanam Sarvapamaganam Tata Lokitya Divina Lokaparide He Mahabodhisate Bodhisate He Mahabodhisate He Prabhupada He Mahakarunika Mahadati Madhya Ya Lokitesharam Paramamiti Chatakara Karunika Kuru Kuru Karma Sadaya Sadaya Bidaya Dehi Me Angara Bigambi Hamaga Sida Yogiri Shara Dua Dure Birisada Madile Dara Dara Daridaya Zara Zala Bimala Mudearia Zona Bilogetitam Dishana Zataya Mugutara Didaya Sharira Lambata Shilaya Mahasida Biya Dara Bala Bala Mahabala 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 Zala Zala Mahasala Dishana Dishana Yajani Hebemaya Zara Zara Nibi Shadaya Dishana Savadita E Mahabarashana Mahaburi Buradashana Narayana Vadajana Hinaya Mahabala Hala Bizanaya Logas Raka Bishanaya Shadana Devashara Bishana Mohabishanaya Radanima Blino Hulu Munjo Munjo Hulu Mavaya Hula Rahula Hala 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 Ere Mahabinaya Zara Zara Ziri Ziri Zuru Zuru Buddha Buddha Bijada Bijada Bodha Bodha Mivadala Heya Nikalamane Bamajade Mavila Zaya Muja Muja Mamuja Muja E Boba Maz the Yadrijan Bata Sadaya Sadaya Bibodaya Samara Samara He Bavanda Loka the Parijana Takataya Namanda Tadavata Yi Medarana Masungadana Tasadana Meso Acidana Zoa Mahasidaya Zoa Rugnishara Nilakarama Baharukoshira Mahabara Meso Narasyamukas Mahanaras in the Benzas in the Mahabara Mahasida Vidaras Pema Hasana is a Mahapenza the additional original Garabitas Mahabara Gudamanas that are with them that is a Shingalash of the Revenues. Bhatana Karaya Bama Samada the Unibinas the Bahamara the Lokeshara Mahalokeshara Savasing the Najuru Raksha Rashamamsa Guru Guru Mudizanama Bhagavata Yavalokeshara Bodhisattva Mahaste Makarunikaya Siddhantu Me Manta Badani so a little bit more about the equality, equanimity, the second character of the Dharani. The most, all our pain, anxiety, and the suffering comes from having the notion of duality, such as bad and good, tall and short, big and small, samsara and nirvana, ignorance and the wisdom, birth and death, beginning and end. All these are duality. And if you really deeply look into it, all this is just a projection. And when I say projection, we are talking about basically like a hallucination. It's just an appearance. It's just a projection. It's not really real. And time and again, it has been proved, even without the Buddha's teaching. 5 hours with a really close friend and having a really good time goes quickly. 1 hour in a prison will go so slowly. Here it proves, time is completely the distinct. The long time and short time is totally a projection. Just a few hundred years ago, the Chinese girls were busy binding their feet, thinking that is beautiful. Just a few hundred years later, the Koreans are trying to do all kinds of surgery, thinking that this is beautiful. Just few decades ago, people think, just everything, basically, wealth, identity, values, just all these dualistic values, just a projection. That part, I think you will all agree. You cannot not agree with this. This is a fact. Now,
하시죠.
the challenge is when projection is projected, after being projected, then you slowly develop the habit to cling on to this project as a real thing. Once this habit is become fatter, bigger, stubborn, then it is really difficult. I mean, as the time goes by, you will also know yourself without Buddha Dharma. Try telling your daughter, 6 years old daughter, that Barbie doll is not a real human being. You should renounce this. If you snatch the Barbie doll from her, she will cry bitterly. But once she reach around 18, 19, she naturally realizes it's an illusion. But the problem with her is by then she has another kind of toy. Try to tell her that that's an illusion. Difficult. So for us, you have one habit, one clinging, one's out, another habit. It will carry on you for some time, one's out, another, and this leads to another, and this is called samsara, meaning going round and round. Actually, the Dharma practice, especially practice such as Ngondo, is a bit like speeding it up all in few years. Barbie doll, Ferrari car, Coco Chanel, all in few years, supposedly. There's something even deeper than this. There are a few people who have gone through the Barbie doll, Ferrari car, all of that, and also done this, been there, done this, all of that, and then now they ended up feeling empty, and then this feeling empty becomes another toy. You know, ignorant mind, all of us, we have a lot of this element of masochism, right? Masochism. Masochism. Do you like scratching when you're itchy? It's
여러분들
a very,
간지러울 때
very small mechanism. What
메소키즘.
masochism? Yeah, very small one. And do you like massage? Yeah, a little bit bigger masochism. Then there are people who are like, really, I'm nothing. Oh, so depressed, so feeling empty. This is a big time masochism. So toys, ignorant beings like us, we just wander, we just get into all kinds of loops. Yes, I think the loops is a good word. Now, if you can understand this is all a projection, then you begin to understand everything is equally a projection. Then when you look at the sky, you don't have these distinctions. Oh, I like this part of the space. Oh, I really don't like this part of the space. You don't have that. Okay, so this is the second. Very briefly, I haven't managed to explain everything so in detail, but very briefly, this is the second character of the Dharani. Yeah, so don't forget, it's not always the Dharani is both sides. Dharani is this kind of wisdom, at the same time, lapis lazuli, perfume, all that, all both together. The third character, just very briefly, so then we will take a short break. Dharani is the wisdom that is uncompounded. Actually, just out of curiosity, is it in the Korean translation also?
The Korean translation says.
What is the third one? What is the third one?
It says in Korean, 조작됨이 없는 마음이며, and this means like unfabricated.
Yeah, that's it. Unfabricated is fine. It's not compounded. It's not fabricated. It's a mind uncompounded, unfabricated. Very big subject, this one. We are talking about the Buddha nature. We are talking about our innate nature of mind that is unfabricated. Fabrication, compounding is impermanent. Anything that is fabricated or compounded or made is illusion. Illusion is not truth. Truth has to be unfabricated. And at the end, there's only one that is unfabricated, and that is the shunyata, or in other words, Buddha nature, or in here, unfabricated mind. And this is also what is contained in this Dharani. When I say contain, what I mean is that it talks about and the Dharani itself is blessed as this. Okay, so we take a break.
네.
질문 있으시면 해주십시오. 질문 마이크 좀 준비해주세요. 마이크 없나요?
These 9 characters, they, of course, they have each of them a very distinctive, but really vast subject. I can only just briefly summarize.
Hello, Rinpoche. I'm asking on behalf of 2 Chinese students here. The first question is, it is said some mantras will lose its power at certain unclean place, for example, during childbirth or periods, women's periods. So in regarding to this, the Great Compassion mantra, is there anything that should be concerned with?
Okay, let me. Okay. Remember this morning I was saying path. When we talk about path, we talk about path dweller. And path dweller is imperfect. The path dweller's imperfection comes from his or her cultural background, his or her own emotion, habit, all kinds of, conditioning. Now, and this is important that you know that. Generally speaking, most of these Buddha's teachings are taught in India. So a lot of Indian kind of good and bad Indian values are there. So, for Indians, Brahma being there is such a big deal. For an American, he's just another Tom, Dick, Harry, Brahma, who cares? Indians can claim that he's the, like the Lord of the three world. The Americans say, well, I'm a CEO of a Wall Street bank, whatever. Who cares? And I've just lost it somewhere. But anyway, there's also, in the method part, there's a usage of fresh cow dung as it is coming from cow's bottom. Using that, there is. Because in India, cow is such a big deal. I'm sure in Korea, cow, horse, parrot, doesn't matter so much. So keeping that as your background, the concept of what is impure, what is pure during the period, all of that exists. Now, this is something that I should have mentioned to you. I was talking about wisdom and method. Wisdom is non-partial. It's every, Tibetans, Bhutanese, to Korean, Indian, doesn't matter. Everything is impermanent. Whether you go to Korea, whether you go to India, equally impermanent. So wisdom is impartial. Method is depending with the different culture, different background, different people, different age, different needs even. So I will not go so, fussy about this statement. Because method, in its own right, they're method. They're just means. They're not the end. Otherwise, sometimes it says this Dharani can just basically do everything so powerful and so amazing. And the other times, this Dharani can't even face a woman with a period. Doesn't make sense.
The other question is from another Chinese student, is asking about doing nothing versus go with the flow. So she just want to clarify this doing nothing technique. And
going with the
into
flow is doing something.
Also, some Chinese students would like to take refuge in you, and they ask, should they go and seek you out, or what's your
Oh,
recommendation?
this afternoon, basically this afternoon, first part we will finish this, and then we will shortly do a refuge ceremony. For those who have already taken refuge, they don't have to come. Okay, any more question?
Rinpoche, I have a question which was you mentioned yesterday. So how should we choose one sutra? There's so many sutra and in different language.
Whatever you feel, you have the feeling, I would say. Because as a practitioner, as a path dweller, we were talking imperfect path dweller, they are only, you can use your feeling, your rational mind. That's the only thing you can use for now. You have to begin with that. Any more?
Yesterday we were talking a little bit about deconstruction, and then you deconstruct the deconstruction, and kind of when you're sitting or doing practice, and there's this element of the watcher involved, but it's kind of endless. Is there something you can do to not get carried away with the endlessness of that?
That's a practice question. You cannot do anything with the endlessness and endless watcher.
Can't do anything.
You cannot do anything. And anyway, you should not do anything. Probably I'm talking a little bit here, Vajrayana, but it's okay. Because if you are trying to stop that, then it is like stopping what, building a, when you build a water dam, you build something concrete to stop the water. So if you are trying to stop the water, it's like building water dam with water. It will just make more water, more endlessness. Okay, but there's something you can do which is very important. You can make these endless thoughts pointless. Okay, I will give you a detailed example here. This is quite important. Let's say you have a flat with all your valuable things in.
Flat
house.
Oh.
And without you knowing, there has been thieves coming in and stealing things 500 times. And that 500 times is actually equal to nothing because you don't know. You didn't know. And that's how our discursive thoughts are entering at the moment. Every minute, maybe 500 times. And stealing something away from you, but you don't know. So it's equal to nothing is happening. Okay, now the second part is, someone tells you, hey, I think, your house is being, but what do you call it? There's visitors, unwanted visitors. Then you begin to notice, and not only that, you notice maybe 2 times thieves coming, and then you'll go, wow, 2 times. 2 times my house been, robbed. 2 times. Before 500 times you don't complain. 2 times now you complain. At this stage, a practitioner is beginning to practice like a shamatha vipassana, and then they're just beginning to notice. And even the 2 times of discursive thoughts is bothering you. That's what's happening. Okay, now your third part. This is what you should be aiming for. Empty out everything in your room. Hide somewhere and enjoy the thieves coming in. And just, the thieves are like going and searching everywhere, and just enjoy that. Endless thieves. You have nothing to fear, nothing to lose, you see? And that is what you are supposed to be aiming for. Okay, any more question?
질문 또
There's
있습니까?
one there.
Where does the power of Dharani or mantra come from? And if all the Dharanis and different mantras have meaning, why don't they translate it and recite it in a way we can understand them rather than just recite words that we can't understand?
Yeah, when the thing is, because the Dharan is so condensed, we have been talking almost, like now 2 days. Then all this characteristic cannot be, to recite that. It will take it's just not possible, right? So what the Bodhisattvas have done is they've condensed all the words. And I thought, how is the Korean translation of Dharana? There must be some Korean words in whatever is translatable, so to speak. I think because when I hear the Chinese one, they seem to have a Chinese language in it. But then they also put like Zulu, like all the words that are really condensed, they leave it. Like Om, Swaha, stuff like that.
Korean doesn't translate the meaning.
It's all
all
I see.
transliterations of
Tibetans a bit
pronunciation.
like that too.
There was another question of where the power comes from.
Oh, the power comes from, remember the wisdom and method aspect, that wisdom and method being, and but this is what we have been talking, the characteristic of the Dharani, the Shunyata, the wisdom method, and the other power comes from the aspiration of Avalokiteshvara. On top of that, you also create a certain condition so that the Dharani becomes more powerful, such as devotion, such as all the rituals, the discipline of the rituals, I think, the discipline of being patient, sort of.
Yeah.
And by the way, the sutra also contains many other small sub-dharanis and the mantras, which we are not even covering this time.
I see.
And not only the rituals such as frankincense, burning frankincense, and so on and so forth, but also gestures, mudras. And some of the gestures are, quite difficult to. I think it's like this. There are just so many sutras and dharanis, and many of these are just literally impossible to be remembered and to be practiced, because everybody, everyone, many people will have their own kind of favorite dharanis and the rituals. Just before the break, I'm going to actually tell you, I'm going to just suggest, give you one small ritual that probably you might want to practice, which is not in this sutra, but because many of these rituals are kind of very elaborated, so probably you may not find the time and the situation. And as I was saying, gestures, there's so many descriptions of gestures that you can do. Well, you can go through the sutras and they try to, if you are serious about this, but I have a feeling that probably you may not really have the time and the patience to go through all over that. Okay. I will choose a very small gesture, maybe a simple gesture. But this gesture is specifically with a specific mantra, not the Dharani. You can do the Dharani also. This Dharani is mainly to um, reduce the poverty mentality and also to increase the very abundance mentality, basically prosperity, richness, wealth. The name of this gesture is called wish fulfilling jewel gesture. So the gesture is you bend your thumbs inside your palm, and then the four fingers, you basically Avalokiteshvara's central mudra, and place it at the center of the heart, and thinking of Avalokiteshvara, and then if you recite this mantra, Tatyatha Sarva, if you recite this specific mantra, Tatyatha Sarva Dharani Mandala Ehi Prabha Shuddha Sattoya Swaha. So that's the specific mantra. Then it increases that abundance mentality. You see, even here, even the title tells you, you could be very, from the worldly point of view, you could be very, very poor, but you could have the abundant mentality. Then you feel very rich. Yeah. Again, another small gesture, the same gesture, but index finger moving. And then the mantra is Om Sarva Buddha Samaya Ehi Brahma Shuddha Sato Swaha. This is an invitation of the Buddha's gesture. Again, just to give you an idea what is in the sutra. Okay, before we have a lunch break, if you want the rituals, and some of you might like, you can do this ritual. Okay. And by the way, it involves fire, so I don't want you to burn your house down. And please, no need big fire. Buy some toothpick, wooden toothpick. Okay, in a small plate, put this toothpick, together. Maybe something like about 20 toothpick, wooden, not plastic. And then have some mustard seed. Now, this depends on what you want, actually, what you want. If you want to destroy obstacle, it's mustard seed. If you want to purify sickness, it's sesame seed. Okay. If you want to attract attention, it's a red flower. Not many, no need, just a little bit. This much will do. Okay, let's say if it is for the, let's say your substance is flour. Put it on a plate like this. And then think Avalokiteshvara is there. Take refuge. Think that you are going to do this for the benefit of sentient beings. Light the fire. As the flame comes, think that this flame is not a flame, but is Avalokiteshvara. Have conviction and chant the Dharani. And then time to time, offer this to the flame. And don't think that this is just some pathetic flower petal. What's your biggest department store?
Loti department store.
Loti? Okay. And think that each petal is 1 million Loti department store. Okay? Offer it. At the end,
끝날 때는
Avalokiteshvara dissolve into you. Please be careful, don't burn down your house. I was thinking this morning, should I tell this, should I not tell? Because Korea has many wooden houses. I don't know. Dedicate the merit. Okay, so we will take lunch break. After that, I will go through the rest of the characters very briefly. Then we will end it. And then there's some request of Ngondo Lung.
Yes.
And refuge. Okay.